back from getting a prescription for vitamin D, which if you can get scripts for vitamins, I would say it's probably the best way to go because it's actually the vitamin you need. And yours truly has been deficient in vitamin D for years, so it's probably why this was so bad. Anyway, talk about yesterday's scoops. So apparently, the writers on the storm, aka the Five Horsemen, the auditors at Lucasfilm, found what they needed. I can't say what it is. I'm going to say that it does it does pass the smell test for criminal malfeasance. Hi, Justin. Any word on the meeting? No. If there was an announcement of a major firing, I talked to a friend of mine who is inside Hollywood, and he basically said that we wouldn't hear anything till like 8 o'clock. Now, that doesn't mean Comrade won't. Okay, he might be able to scoop them. Okay, it's just I'm not gonna say anything's gonna happen today. Okay, because we had Doomcock saying the meeting was today, and then we had Sparrow having a feeling that there would be something on Wednesday. Okay, so really, I don't know. This whole week is going to be like for all of us who are interested. And it does basically put the Acolyte in the crosshairs of being canceled. Okay, there's no reason for them to have it. It is nothing more than a 3 small, short episode sizzle reel. The question of funding has been discovered, and it would behoove Kennedy's lawyers to get her the hell out of there. Okay. Yep. Look, Doomcock, for whatever reason, I love you, dude, but has a hard on for Dave, and I think he actually believes that Dave actually is one of is one of Kennedy's little flying monkeys, and he's not. This is, oh, I think it will be, Mike. That when I heard people starting to accuse Filoni of that, I was literally like, do you fucking know anything about the guy at all? Or is this just some Phantom Menace douchebag being jealous that he's not the one running the creative show at Lucasfilm, spreading lies? Okay, so, well, it's a stupid idea. It was created out of envy and hate. They don't understand the relationship Dave had with George. And it's, you know, Filoni is Kennedy's little flying monkey. No, the fuck he's not. Okay? He's the one behind Ahsoka. Okay? I mean, it's him. It's just, look, ignore it. Ignore it. I don't, look, I had somebody try to explain to me the hate on for Filoni, like, oh no, he was never George's Padawan. Yes, dumbass. He was George's assistant, the guy, the right-hand man. Almost more than Rick McCallum. Yes, I mean, he's practically his son, all right? George has had more to do with the good stuff recently in Star Wars than we know, okay? Because those guys talk to him every day. They talk to him every day, okay? Jon Favreau said that. I mean, really, guys? There's a reason why I get really sick of them, and now you know why. Anyway, so let's get this going here. So, to recap for people who just got here, news broke yesterday that the auditors, the five horsemen of the apocalypse, did find what they were looking for. And the feeling around the office at Lucasfilm is that there's going to be a company-wide meeting. And Doomcock had it for today, but we were given the impression, at least Sparrow was, it would be Wednesday. And I don't know. I mean, we're not, if they did have a meeting today, it is 2, 1, or it's going to be 3, 2, 1, noon in California. All right. So I would expect to hear some rumor coming out, but we haven't yet. Okay. What they have to do is, okay, let's put up this scenario because one of Cameron's Patreon subscribers put this out. What if Kennedy was fired this weekend? Now, dear hubby has not posted any more pictures from England. I suppose she could have been fired this weekend. It is very interesting to me that this idea came up and it might actually have happened. I don't think so, but with Iger with his hot little hands around the goods, Kennedy really doesn't have a choice. Okay, so I would expect if her lawyers did not hear that she was done, they're going too soon. And I really don't even believe that Iger will even waste time with a face-to-face meeting. I would like it if she heard it in the trades. That would be exactly what that incompetent see you next Tuesday deserves, okay, is to hear it in the trades. And the reason is this. She tried to turn the fans against Star Wars by making shitty Star Wars. She made deals with people like Jason Ward, who, if you want to do a background check on that guy, because I have, all right, it kind of makes you look at her and go, you gave this guy a mission to chase the fans off. He wasn't successful. All he did was basically piss off the fans and start a fight, and we didn't go anywhere. All right. She made a deal with Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, and now that stupid idea has come to bite her in the ass. The skinny, bony ass. Okay. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just here. I'm just here hanging. That's it. So I don't know when we're going to hear about it, but all I know is that there is a meeting this week. I'm hoping it's today just because I want it. All right. I am more than happy to break out the champagne. Okay. Just tell me when. But I do think Cameron is going to hear about it before the trades put it out. Okay. And this is for the Black Pill Blobs. The Acolyte's over. It never was a project. It was a fraud perpetrated on Halo, hey Cross. It was a fraud perpetuated on you and me and Disney. Okay, and it is to the point where it could be given to the prosecutors in LA County to sort out. All right, Kennedy did this to herself. Okay, she made, she made, played stupid games and now she's winning stupid prizes. Okay, and there's a reason why, Steven Spielberg basically acted like she wasn't there, her and her husband. It wasn't just that Indiana Jones 5 wasn't a great movie. It was, I know, it was fine. I didn't have a problem with it. I don't, look, if I hear a guy getting into a raging, steaming hissy fit over Indy 5, there were some technical issues with the script. Indy did a backwards character arc. Where he ended up, he should have started at, and then, all right. Helena's backstory was asinine, okay, but still, it was fine. It wasn't a great indie movie. I put it right up there with Crystal Skull, which I don't mind that much. But I have to say that if you're a guy that gets incensed over this movie and freaks out about, I mean, I'm sure they saw the peace protesters that it was 1969 for fuck's sake. What do you think was happening? There were hippies all over the place. It was a year after Bobby Kennedy was shot. Okay, year after Martin Luther King was shot. All right, the 60s, it shows a lack of historical knowledge, first off. Okay, it also shows a lack of understanding what they're watching. Okay, the campuses were a mess of hippies protesting free speech, which they ain't for. I mean, if you look at Tom, oh God, Jane Fonda's ex-husband, Tom Newman, I can't remember his last name. He was the head of democracy now, or the voice of democracy at Berkeley. Okay, and he was a California state rep most of his life because the rest of California was like, stay away, motherfucker, stay. You are Satan. But stuff, shit like that was happening everywhere. So if you're freaked out about that, here's a history book about the 60s, written by someone who's an unbiased historian. Read it and shut up. Okay, get some knowledge. When Helena says something stupid about capitalism, that's the only thing that I heard that I was insulted by. That's it. When Duckface said that, I'm like, and the ironic thing is they're losing out to capitalism because no one's seeing the movie. Okay, Jim Caviezel is kicking their ass right now. In a movie, I might add, that Disney had shelved once they bought Fox. Angel Studios got it back. Angel Studios went out and got it into 2,500 theaters, and it's going gangbusters. Okay, it's, I mean, and I will see it probably eventually. I don't know if I'll go to the theater to see it. It's a subject that pisses me off. Okay, and I go to movies to be entertained. I've seen Schindler's List 5 times at the movie theater, and once with a class on anti-Semitism and another on German history, and I was so horrified I couldn't, it's a good movie. It's a great movie. But I'm not that person anymore. All right. Saving Private Ryan, I could probably see that again at a theater, only because it's our guys. It's a war movie. Okay, the violence is the context is in context. When you see a movie about the Holocaust, there's no rational reason for any of that shit to have happened. Okay, hatred. That's it. Okay, and we're seeing it play out every day on Twitter. Democrats freaking out at Republicans and threatening to throw people into camps because they didn't want to get the vaccine or the boosters. You see it on Meta's new platform, Threads. You can't follow anybody, and if you say anything anti-vaccine, they'll ban you. It's like, who wants to be on a platform like that? And they imagine they can take on Twitter. Well, good luck to you, fucksticks. Good luck to you. Okay. So anyway, but back to where we're going. If you've got an independent movie, an independent Christian movie, even worse, the lead is a devout Catholic who played the Lord in a movie that people like Frank Marshall and Kathy Kennedy and the rest of that scum hate because it makes them feel bad about themselves. It makes them feel full of shame and guilt, and they should. That whole thing makes me happy. I mean, I feel bad for Harrison Ford. He didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve to be stuck in that dumpster fire of filming. I feel bad that people like D-Day Cobra have to attack him for what? He's an actor, you dumbass. I feel bad for him for having people like Matt Kadish say ageist stuff. Have you ever seen Matt Kadish? He couldn't make it across his kitchen to open the refrigerator without fainting. Okay, enormous. Okay, but we're all supposed to like get on that bandwagon and follow the narrative. And if you don't follow the narrative, you are committing an abomination. Okay, you are a heretic. Well, I'm a heretic. Fuck you. Okay, I didn't mind Dial of Destiny. It wasn't the greatest Indiana Jones movie. That sort of I have a hard time deciding which one I love better, Last Crusade or Raiders, but there you go. And if I had to choose to sacrifice one character or the other, I would actually sacrifice Indy before I'd sacrifice Han Solo. Okay, to get rid of Kennedy. Okay, I'm just saying that, and I love Indiana Jones. But my heart belongs to Han Solo. And again, I've always thought that, had they done Return of the Jedi differently, Harrison Ford would have had a different attitude about it. He would have probably not felt compelled to be rotten about it, I guess, But and he really wasn't. I mean, when you hear what he has to say about it, it's like, okay, I get it now. Then you look at George and say, why did we have Lando? Why was Lando in the movie that much? This should have been Han and the Falcon. Okay. And then you've got all three doing something. And Lando goes off to Cloud City to liberate it or something like that. That would have been an easy thing to fix. But, so we wait. Okay. This is what I expect. Us to find out that, if not Kennedy getting fired outright, and I think it's going to happen this week, but I expect to hear a few of the Flying Monkeys' names no longer attached to Lucasfilm. Pablo is on his public Twitter account, not talking anything about Star Wars at all. I expect him to go. I expect Candace Campos. I expect Carrie Beck and a few other ones. Okay, that's the least. Okay, and like I said, was it yesterday or the day before? There are two possibilities. Kennedy gets fired and then they all get fired, or they get fired and Kennedy's left with no support and has to leave, or they all get fired at the same time. So there are three possibilities. Two are more possible than others, I think. But we just got to see and wait to see what is going on. I think that Leslie Headland may have some problems with really bad legal issues like law enforcement. Okay, if she is in California and Iger decides to hand all the stuff that he has to the LA County District Attorney, Headland will be, she'll be the one, and Kennedy will throw her under the bus happily. You see her go. Okay, why? Because that's one thing that you'll never see her marched out like that, Kennedy. And like I said, I think it would be appropriate in some ways for her to find out she was fired in the news by Deadline reporting it, just like what she did to Gina Carano. Now, am I that vindictive? Yes, I am. Okay. I don't hold grudges much, but I do hold a grudge her, and I do hold a grudge a few people in the fandom who have caused major problems with the narrative, and we all know who they are. We don't have to make a big deal. But if what's going to happen is going to happen, their whole narrative falls apart. Okay, the Ray movie. That's not going to happen. All right, again, my theory was Daisy showed up to celebrate Kathy Kennedy at Celebration and ended up being talked into pretending there was a Ray movie. Or this movie, this amorphous, future that Kennedy had mentioned to her maybe 2 years ago, she was told we're going to talk about that instead. All right, that's what I think this was about. All right, and if you notice, the only person who showed up from the sequel trilogy at this year's celebration was her. Okay, you couldn't get an Adam Driver. No, he's in California. He's filming Megalopolis with Francis Ford Coppola. You couldn't get Muleface to go to that. You couldn't get 45 people in the chat. Hi guys. Chime in, ask me questions. Oscar Isaacs, he's making Coppola in The Godfather, or Francis in The Godfather, and he's playing Francis Ford Coppola. I know, a little too short, in my opinion. That's bad casting. But Kelly Marie Tran didn't show up. John Boyega didn't show up. They don't want anything to do with it. Okay, they know it's over. Okay, they know Disney doesn't want it. And to the black pills that are saying Disney's never going to override the sequel trilogy. Bob Iger is the one that wants the Ray movie. Bob Iger is also the one closing the Star Wars Hotel, which is based on your beloved sequel trilogy. Because again, if the black pills and the black pill blobs don't have that to bitch about, they lose a narrative point, don't they? All right. This is all about being there first, which is like, just a second. It's so stupid. Um, this competition that suddenly started raging between between Cameron's Patreon and others is childish. It really is. Sorry, guys. It's you kind of go, are we done? Are we done? How old are you? 5? To some of these people, and I would think that instead of trashing other people for their contacts, that we would all get together and compare notes. Okay, but it's never been that way. It hasn't been that way with since 2018. I mean, if you went against the narrative of G and Gary, you would get. I mean, look what they did to Doomcock, for crying out loud. So this stupid 5-year-old competition, and it started by people who have the maturity level of a 5-year-old, really, it's asinine. It's a lot of them are in their mid-40s and having shit fit because there's a story out there that doesn't jibe with what we've been told they've heard. Okay, so then they've got, instead of going, okay, let's check this out, they attack the messenger. All right, instead of saying, if we rallied together, we could be very powerful. But this is why I often wonder, and why I point fingers and say, you are an astroturfer. You are not helping the fandom. You are doing everything you can to help Kennedy, and you don't even know it. Or maybe you do know it. I mean, I don't have any idea. I'm just throwing that out there. But so I don't know where we'll be next week with this. We might not hear anything this week. I mean, let's 50 people. All right, for all you newbies, because I see a lot of newbies here. Here's the deal. I have rules. No Raylos. No sequel trilogy fans of any kind. No black pills. And I'll tell you what a black pill is. A black pill is one that insists Kennedy's not going anywhere, that she's the most powerful woman in Hollywood, that they don't care if they're losing money because somehow BlackRock gets them. It's like, what? It's the quasi weird conspiracy theory. Imagine the tinfoil hat. You can show them Steven Spielberg basically acting like it's only him, George, and Harrison, and James Mangold's like this, up there on stage, and completely oblivious to Kennedy and her husband. Okay, dissing the fuck out of them by not mentioning them. That was hardcore. Okay, if you want to see power, that's power. Okay, it's not some sniveling, bony ass, old feminazi being resentful and shitting all over all the guys who helped her and covered for her. Okay, which is what Kennedy is. She's a narcissist, and I think a sociopath. Okay, and that's it. Other rules. All right, no black pills, no black pill blobs. You do not come here to troll. Okay, you do not attack each other. And if I've got someone on here like Kamran or my friend Dan or anybody, and you're saying something shitty about them, you will be banned. Okay, I do not tolerate that shit. I do not tolerate trolls. Okay, so that's just a little bit about the Smuggler's Cantina. And no, if you're going to leave a comment, no one word or one sentence comments without context. Okay, don't say anything because, if there's no context, what is a person supposed to think? Especially since people who do that aren't smart enough to make it mean something. Okay, all right, don't do it. Anyway, let's see what else. So we've got to wait. We've got to wait. We got to figure out what's going on. I'm probably going to go downstairs and work out a little bit. And, we wait and we find out and we wait some more. And that's it. That's all we can do, guys. That's all we can do. And that's fine. Okay, that's fine. We wait. And I'm gonna say something. It is not that the last 7 movies that Disney's put out there, and I'm not even really sure if any of this is that true, but I've done digging on my own on this, have lost almost $1 billion. It is that Indiana Jones should have more than made up for that and did not. And that is not Harrison Ford's fault. It is not even Phoebe Waller-Bridge's fault. She was not well cast. But she didn't cast her. Okay. Kathleen Kennedy did. All right. It is the fact that Disney has to do something. And if you're going to blame Iger for anything, he waited too long. All right. Disney's financial woes are actually his fault. But his actions are saying that he knows that. Okay. Kathleen Kennedy will not admit she's fucked up. She won't. I mean, she's worse than Anakin telling Obi-Wan, you turned her against me. And Anakin going, you've done that yourself. She's done all this to herself. She didn't have to make a deal with Leslie Headland. She didn't have to tell Bob Iger, okay, we'll throw out George's script treatments. She could have said, I want to do what George wanted to do. And I'm going to throw it. We're going to do it. We have to do it. And we are going to take our time. Let the Star Wars sequel trilogy grow organically. Then it's like, look, I'll give you an example. I owned a thoroughbred racehorse. She's been retired for 20 years, or for 21 years now. She stopped racing as a 2-year-old because she hurt herself. She's a woman with her own mind. Okay, she's very stubborn. She doesn't like to do something she doesn't want to do. Okay, and you can't make her do things on your time frame. Kay does things on Kay's time frame. And if you push an animal like that with a lot of spirit and incredibly intelligent, she's as smart as our dog, and he's a shepherd. You are going to be the one paying for it. Okay, you do not push good things. You got to for a horse, let him get used to it, let him understand, and let them choose the time at times. Okay, now it took me 2 months when I got her, she was 14, to get on her back, because rule number 1, you don't get on a thoroughbred, no matter how long they've been off the track, the day you get them. Okay, you just don't, unless they've been ridden a lot and they've got a better attitude about the world than Kay did. Kay's a shit, and when I first got her, she was we had discussions. I mean, I would wait her out, make her work through it, and she would, and then we get done with the lesson that I was teaching her, and she was fine. But making a movie that's huge like Star Wars, you have to take your time. I mean, George started thinking about doing something like Star Wars in the late 60s. Okay. And Indiana Jones, he started thinking about in 1972. From what I remember the time frame. So it wasn't like, oh, let's do this. Like, it just popped into his head. It took a while to manifest what he wanted to see on screen. And it took a while to manifest what the story would be about. I mean, he went from having Han Solo being a Trandoshan, because that's what the pictures look like, to a Han Solo, Harrison Ford. Okay. Because there were some, I mean, there's some really wild concepts that he came up with that just were not going to make it on screen. It would have been too weird. Okay. And he was called off the ledge probably by his wife at the time, and probably Coppola, who was like, what? You can't have a lizard man rescue Princess Leia? What? You know? So there you go. And with Indiana Jones 5, they had more than enough time to do it, and they never could come up with the right script. The first script that I know that Harrison Ford got for this movie was in 2017. He was doing PR for Blade Runner 2049, and he met this reporter for either GQ or Esquire, I can't remember. And a messenger came over to his house in Brentwood and dropped off the script. And, you know, he had it. All right, 2017. And we had to wait till after COVID to get the movie finished. Now imagine if they'd have made the movie when, in 2017, if they had had a decent script. Steven Spielberg and George Lucas would have been involved. Okay, at least Steven would have. Okay, and George probably would have been given pointers. But because all this shit went down, and because I think Kennedy pissed off Spielberg so bad, he said, fuck this shit, I'm done. I'm gonna go do Meet the Fablemans. He went off and did that. Okay. You know, the movie suffered from, I think, writing by ad hoc committee and Kennedy's inane ideas on creativity, and of course her feminazi fanaticism. Okay. Before I go, I want to say this: I watched the movie Nefarious, and my husband's like, "You're watching that? Oh my god!" Freaked out. And I don't know. Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever seen the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, because Sean Patrick Flannery plays the guy possessed by the demon, and he is magnificent. It's a really good movie, and it's not scary at all. But it was a movie that was plagued by a lot of really weird, I would say, supernatural things going on. Power going out, cameras not working, phones dying for no reason at 100% power, and all of a sudden they're done. And Father Carlos Martins is a Facebook friend of mine, and he was the technical advisor, and he is also an exorcist for the Catholic Church. And he basically said it's as close to what you'll ever see that an exorcism is. Okay. And it is kind of something I think people need to hear. In really all the scenes are mostly Sean Patrick Flannery on, you know, soliloquizing, doing a soliloquy, and the doctor playing the doctor trying to figure out if he's crazy or not, asking him questions, and that's it. But it's good. So if you're interested in stuff like that, watch it. Go and Greg. It's on pay-per-view now, so on demand, and I highly recommend it. It's it'll take you out of your comfort zone. Okay, it'll put things that I think a lot of people take for granted and that they're comfortable with, and make them feel completely uncomfortable by the time the movie's over. And I think that's probably what we need in the world. But anyway, so, again, if, to recap, the auditors did find evidence of wrongdoing, criminal malfeasance. Iger likely has had it, has got it now. And according to Doomcock, there was supposed to be a meeting today, all hands on deck. It is very interesting to me that we were given the feeling that it would probably be Wednesday, but to me, early this week means today or tomorrow. Okay, and if it's today, we could hear something by 8 o'clock tonight. Okay, and we usually get a report by our contacts by about 5 o'clock our time. Sometimes later. But guys, don't be impatient. Just sit back. We are going to the end. The end is nigh for her, Kennedy. Okay. So anyway, I gotta go. Y'all be good. Y'all have a good day, and I'll see you around the galaxy.